relating to our efforts to create a communication system permitting conversation with higher levels of consciousness. First, I must report that our research told us that heaven is not out someplace on cloud 9 or some far part of the universe. For all practical purposes, it is right here. This etching by the Belgian artist, Mr. Escher, gives some concept of worlds within worlds within worlds. Imagine that we just take a slice right through these worlds. We get a picture, diagram, that looks more like this. Here we are down here on the earth level. The next level of vibration, lowest level, we have traditionally called hell, Hades, and purgatory. And then all of the sections of the other levels are shown one above the other. All of these are at higher, finer types of vibration. And that has been the problem all along on the development of communications equipment. To be able to go from the vibrational level where we are down here to these higher levels. And now I would like to show you some of the types of equipment which we have experimented with beginning in 1971. Our first piece of equipment, so-called Mark I, was designed to operate at a vibrational frequency far above the ordinary household radio. This piece of equipment, which you see here, built in 1971, operated at 300 million cycles per second. The effort, so-called Mark II, in which we worked on 73 and 74, involved this piece of equipment, which operated at a much higher frequency, 1.2 billion cycles per second. Again, no tangible results as far as communication is concerned. Another project which we had, still working at lower frequencies, something that we called Mark III and Mark IV, accomplished a great deal. In 1981, this equipment had evolved to the point where for a period of 10 months, off and on for 10 months, we logged more than 20 hours of two-way conversation with an American physicist, Dr. George Jeffries Mueller. For various reasons, however, this type of equipment was not suitable for reaching our long-range objectives, so we continued on other lines of research. We then developed the so-called Mark V, which worked at still higher vibrations, 10.2 billion cycles per second. Again, we learned useful things, but it was no basis for the kind of communication that we wanted. Now I would like to take you with Bob Kesselring, our Director of Research, and with me on a trip to visit some of the researchers that LBD is funding in whole or in part, so that you can see the other approaches that we are making to this work. Dr. Senkowski is Professor of Physics and Electrical Engineering at Bingen Technical University. He has been involved in EVP research for many years. I'm very glad to have this opportunity of having you viewers meet Dr. Senkowski.
I started my work approximately 7 years ago because I wanted to find out for myself whether this talk about voices from the so-called dead was really significant or not at all. And I used my station receiver, being a radio ham operator, and I immediately got several voices which I could interpret as voices coming from deceased, telling me, we are the dead, we are able to think, and we are able to speak. So I continued this research. I became involved during my spare time, and by the time I got the impression that one could improve the amount and the quality of voices by adding tones. Just tones added by either the electromagnetic part of the receiving unit or by adding tones through a separate speaker in the laboratory produced by tone generators. And I continued along this line, at first having the impression that I got a direct contact with people originally known to me during their lifetime, especially my father and his brother, an uncle of mine, and the voices could be recognized as well by myself as by my wife. So there was no doubt for us that we are really in contact with these people, and I got the idea as far as possible to do my own work and to find out my own way for improving this type of communication, which afterwards I came to know or came to term transcommunication.
And I are here in West Germany visiting this interesting 50-room castle owned by Mr. Manfred Kage. 78% of the space in this castle is occupied by photographic laboratories. Manfred, would you tell us briefly about the type of work that you do here?
Yes, I started about 12 years in Kassel to installate a lot of machines for the following purpose: to make the invisible things visible. This is my house view. This can be, in the one hand, these things are very small and I enlarge them with microscopes. On the other hand, it can be that I use a scanning electron microscope to get a third dimension, and I have one of the only scanning microscopes in color. The next things are that I have a lot of equipment to make research in ultraviolet or infrared and perhaps Kesselring photography.
Well, obviously, Mr. Kage's work is very important and highly successful because his clients include companies like International Telephone and Telegraph, International Business Machines, the big oil companies of the world, and the largest industrial and chemical companies of the world. Manfred, would it be okay if Bob does a little filming of some sections of your laboratory?
Yes, you can do it.
Oh, good, good. Is there anything special that our viewers might benefit from seeing?
Yes, perhaps to look at the Kesselring photography, which I have combined with X-ray perhaps.
Really? Good. I'll be sure to catch that.
Right, with the merest glimpse of what goes on in your fascinating laboratories. On my first visit here 7 months ago, I asked you if you would like to join the research activity of Life Beyond Death Research Foundation and work with us on some of our efforts to make the invisible visible, as you said, in a strange field in which we are working. And while we can discuss details later, I'd just like to get a general idea as to whether or not this now appeals to you after you considered it for just like the time.
Yes, that's a field I'm very interested for years now. Since I heard the first time from the so-called Tonbandstimmen. And is it the English word?
Toneband voices.
Toneband voices.
Like we say, electronic voice phenomena.
Okay. And even this I studied, which are the possibilities to spread it out over the area of video. And therefore I'm interested to do research in this field.
All right, then in the next day or so, we'll discuss in detail a possible program which would make it feasible for us to work together to reach some of the objectives that we both have in mind. Fine. Thank you very much.
So we can put.
Let's go.
Well, no,
See what I've done? I brought it way over here.
yeah.
Now you get it. Well, I was more concerned about the
Also gut.
And I make the color with this equipment, and this I invented 5 years ago. I call this a gamma discriminator.
Gamma?
It means the gamma discriminator. It means that the gamma curve would put it in three independent parts. In each part, I make one photo on the same color film with 3 different color filters. And if I have in the first a dark blue background, no bright light. In the second, a yellow one with bright light, only to say 2 colors. Then you have this scanning photos from the radiolarian. They have what we call highlight in yellow. A middle ground is more greenish, and the dark is blue. Look at this photo. Here you have such an idea. There is the highlights are yellow, and there is a greenish middle ground and a black background. And this black background can be blue, or each color I like.
Is this photograph above your head taken on this machine?
Yes, and here you have a lot of beautiful color photos. And here you see this radiolarian, just with its blue color. And another one, this is aluminium, metals. And then you have a golden radiolarian second type.
Now we are leaving southern Germany and travel by train to Mönchengladbach in northern Germany.
Partition here, yeah, and near the wires here. So, and this is for shielding, yeah.
Ja, dat is een action. Ja.
So, partition here, yeah.
Now you're going to see some scenes in Mönchengladbach where I am going to conduct an experiment with Mr. Konig, an ultrasonics transducer engineer in Germany. Mr. Konig is succeeding in producing high-quality paranormal voices. I'm interested in investigating the correspondence of the magnetic field anomalies that are occurring with Herr Koenig's results. You are about to see a composite of 2 trials, which gives a brief but clear impression of these trials.
Yeah, I suppose he will phone you this evening again. He will try.
All right.
If not, yes. Okay.
things aren't there, and then the whole experiment breaks down just because the head in that recorder is...
Ja. Er sagt also Folgendes, das ist ganz lustig. Ja, es ist ganz lustig. Es ist natürlich so, man muss ja mit solchen Übertragungsgeschichten vorsichtig sein. Also übertragen heißt eine Verdoppelung der Apparatur an einem anderen Platz, zum Beispiel jetzt in Franklin. Heute Morgen haben Sie gesagt, Herr König, Sie machten sich gelegentlich auch Gedanken darüber, ob nicht in dem Aufzeichnungskopf von dem Tonbandgerät, von dem Rekorder, die Hochfrequenz, die da ja drin ist, und wahrscheinlich auch noch was ausmachen könnte. Vielleicht nicht in dem Fall.
Nee, gar nicht. Nee, ich kann das jetzt zum Beispiel abschalten.
Ja.
Ja, und das separat über Verstärker geben. Das ist der Effekt.
Aha. So he says no, because he doesn't, if in case he does not use this recorder, he cuts it off completely. We get the voices anyhow from the speaker.
Die Bandaufnahme dient ja...
No, 7.
Bitteschön.
Das hier ist die König, 1729, das ist der 14.12.1989. Die rufen aus und die finden nochmals Kontakt. Wir haben heute Morgen versucht. Wunderbar. Weiter Steinökel. Oh, prima. Wir haben ganz deutlich gehört. Weiter Steinökel, wo befindest du dich jetzt? Wo bist du? Also Freunde, ich bitte, dass ihr euch meldet. Stufe Walter Steinökel. War das richtig was Wesentliches, was für uns interessant wäre?
Mönchengladbach.
Was war damit gemeint, ist in Mönchengladbach? Check it out.
I'm here in southern England visiting Mr. Will Thorner, retired electrical engineer, also retired homeopathic physician. Mr. Thorner has been interested in psychic matters since childhood, and he is particularly interested in this matter of communication between various levels of consciousness.
Yes, I think it started, I should imagine, when I was about 2 or 3 years old, as a little boy, when I was left in the dark. And when I say darkness, we are talking about half-light. And when I went to bed, it was possible for me to see 1, 2 or 3 ghostly forms. To my amazement, I saw the ghost of a fly leaving its body. Naturally, you conclude, well, I must be seeing. There is another interesting thing which has been, I believe, proved, that the person, when they are dead, they weigh less than when they are alive.
What are you doing right now?
I'm now making up the cell. This is a material called phenagan. See, this would ordinarily be put inside. It doesn't really matter.
Right.
Because for mucking about, I use it outside, but it's exposed when it's outside.
Mm-hmm.
Let's let it up and then it will sink. Now,
Now, in this case, where are you focusing your mind?
there, now it's come on because I put my mind on it. Now it remains up a little while. Now again, there it is. But the main current is sinking. You see, now it's come on as a result of my mind. This cell business, there's this business of, what do they call it, electrolysis. And a small amount of these bubbles will cause a drop in the current. It's always dropping. But there are some things, some combinations, which keep up remarkably well. See, now the current will fall. There it is. Now I'm going to put my mind on it. You see, it comes up. Now you let it fall. Now you do it again. Up. It will fall. Now again. You see? That is how I like the thing to be going to do anything. Don't you do anything, don't think. When it goes down, I shall ask somebody else to do it. Will you... wait a minute. Will you please communicate? There we are. Stop.
Oh, hi. How you doing? Oh, boy. Long time no see.
At least.
Oh, boy, this weather's something else again.
Yeah, it's pretty cold up here in Pennsylvania.
Especially in this old castle, you know.
Yes, it's a
What
fire.
can I do for you? How you
Well,
doing?
I wanted the folks to meet you because you were the man that assembled and built the Spiricom device. Got in
Oh,
touch with Mueller,
oh, brother.
right? And then I want you to tell me a
Stop
little bit.
insisting on anonymity then, huh?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, brother. Okay.
Give it away. But and in addition to that, I wanted you to say something in regards to what you're doing now. What are you trying to do to go beyond Spiricom?
Well, in addition to Spiricom now, I'm working on what we've come to call Vidicom. I'm getting some activity on the TV screen, but I've got to work some more on it to condense is not the word, you know, so that I know who it is.
Make the image clearer?
Yeah, so that along with the audio, along with the voice.
Right, right.
And they don't stay very long, and that bothers me.
Oh, yes.
And there's no possible way that it could be a television station. There's no such television station on the air, to the best of my knowledge. I rebuilt that little television set. It's color because I want it to be in color.
Yes, yes. Is
And,
this similar to the work you're doing with something called IFRT?
Well,
What is IFRT?
That's the integrated frequency response treatment.
For the
See, I
medical.
discovered the normal vibrational frequency of human anatomy. And any disease, cancer, whatever, is a foreign frequency to the normal.
Okay.
By increasing the normal, even greater,
Right.
it does away with the
Breaks it
abnormal.
up. Okay.
I mean, it's very simple. You know.
Great, great.
In other words, in simpler language, if you've got a little weak radio station that's bothering your music that you like, you just bring in the louder
Wipe
one
it
and
out.
get away
Wipe it
with
out.
it.
Okay. Well, let's go inside and get warm.
That's not technical, but it's...
That's right. That's the start. Okay,
Yeah, okay,
let's go.
sure.
Thank you. I'm visiting the home of Hans Heckmann in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Hans, I understand you began your research in spirit communication in 1971.
Yes, that's correct. George Meek, Paul Jones, and myself established a small laboratory here in the outskirts of Philadelphia. That was the end of 1971, and we operated this laboratory until the end of 1976, at which time George transferred everything to Florida. I continued collaborating with George Meek very closely all through those years up until now.
What are you doing with the money we've been supplying you? I hear you've been pretty busy.
Yes, for instance, here is a magnetic antenna wound and mounted on a parabolic dish, which has the purpose of intercepting electromagnet signals, which will be modulated by spirit voice. The suggestions for this, rather specific ones, came from what we believe to be Nikola Tesla, the former scientist, and my collaborator in Oregon is Gene Carter, who is in intermittent contact with Tesla, and got his suggestion from Tesla over the years. And we joined together in an effort to put this.
Wow.
And thanks to the funds, we're making excellent headway here.
Good, good. I think we'll do some tests now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm now with Erland Babcock, Director of the Audiovisual Laboratories at the Lowell University in Massachusetts. Earl, what line of research are you following?
Well, I'm convinced that the successful transducer between spirit energies will involve light and sound.
What part of the light frequencies?
We're going to be experimenting in both the infrared and ultraviolet.
Of course, I understand that your laboratories are still being organized, and until your own laboratory at home is ready, you can't begin this.
That's correct. We have started assembling of some of the equipment at home, and as you can see, the video equipment some of it that we'll be using is here in this lab.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Bob Kesselring. I am the Director of Research for LBD. I have been in this film and other scenes which were filmed in Germany. I have three major responsibilities in my work with LBD. The first of which is to examine information coming in from abroad and in the United States and analyze its impact. If I find, however, this information is directly involved in our research, I try to enlist the support and work of those individuals who have contacted us. My second responsibility is to formulate an understanding in scientific terms as established by scientific guidelines, what we are attempting to accomplish and our degrees of success, to try and attempt to quantify in scientific terms as much as is possible. My background in psychic phenomenon ranges from my own special gifts, both in psychic phenomena and in electrical and physics engineering, as well as being capable of communicating with those people with those gifts, both in English and in German. I'm going to show you very quickly just two pieces of equipment and the research we are doing here in North Carolina, which is attempting to correlate the experiments in Germany and in the United States. And this is basically my third responsibility, to attempt to find experiments which reveal the correlations found in research done independently throughout the world. My project is designated M10. Here I have begun to assemble the components necessary to perform the experiments which would reveal the characteristic qualities of ectoplasm. Here I have a portable M10 gas meter, which you probably saw in Germany and in England, which I was using to evaluate the magnetic field. Here I have an infrared laser system, which I am currently modifying to provide me mode selection and other qualities necessary for me to evaluate the impact of the magnetic fields and also the chemical structures. Here I have a computer which is generating the sound you hear, quite identical to the one that Herr Konig designed and built himself. I designed this one and built it, and this was done over a year ago. Here I have an amplifier system driving ultrasonic transducers in here, quite again, like what Herr Konig has been finding. Here on the oscilloscope you can see my waveforms changing, and like Herr Konig or other individuals in the EVP research, I find that the square wave factors are very important. Now, next I want to take you to the Mark 6 experiments which are being done in another laboratory. I'm now in the laboratory in which we are doing the Mark 6 research. One of the main thrusts in all of our research is to find a suitable transducer with higher levels of consciousness. In this exact experiment, we are trying to use the plasma of a flame. We have found that the plasma of a flame is a suitable transducer for frequency ranges which go beyond the ultrasonic range. It is an omnidirectional speaker and as well a possible microphone that goes into this range.
We have now acquainted you with the historical development of our research since 1971. We have also reported on LBD's current research in the USA and abroad. You are personally invited to participate in these efforts to launch mankind into inner space.